Hello, this is Tom with the Tractor Rescue Ranch. And this video is going to be my last haying video, except for probably a segment that I'll do later on how many bales we did and everything for the season. But we're starting out this video with me doing some tedding. These windrows were really thick and having a hard time getting them to dry on the bottom. And this tedder and this industrial John Deere 400 tractor both belong to my friend Scott. He lives just right next door to this field that I'm doing, and he let me use this tractor and tedder. But anyway, there's a series on this tractor. Scott and I saved it out of a salvage yard in Evanston, Wyoming, and it had a hole in the block, and I rebuilt the whole thing, and it's turned out to be a really nice tractor. So between that and my new hay baler, hopefully this last video will turn out to be a high point for the haying season. Here is an old John Deere. Looks to me like it used to be a backhoe. It's got a 3-point hitch. Looks like a pretty stand-up tractor, an industrial model. But looky here, got a hole in the block and a crank sticking out of the hole. Everything else on it looks real stand-up. I think that it would be a good project to, if a guy could find a new motor for it.
Okay, somebody else has to read. Oh, no, that's light.
50, 48.
As I went throughout the day baling, I used the tensioner adjustment to try to get the hay bales dialed in. This customer didn't want heavy bales. He's an older guy than I am, probably 10 years older than I am. He didn't want heavy bales to have to mess with, so I was shooting for about a 55-pound bale. That was enough to make the bales good and competent. I think I could have probably made them quite heavier. So it was just a matter of adjusting back and forth, trying to get everything dialed in on that tensioner in order to get the right weight of bales. So I continued to have a problem with the shearing pin on that baler. The main flywheel shearing pin on occasion would break, so I had to keep replacing it. The thing that the previous owner said was that the locking mechanism was coming up because the timing was off, and I really don't think that that was the situation. It was never that locking mechanism that made it shear. I have whenever I would get a real heavy chunk of hay in there, it would shear that pin off. So I think the main problem would be the knives on it probably need sharpened. And so my plans are this fall to pull this baler completely apart, to pull the plunger out and do a complete rebuild on the plunger and sharpen the knives, and I think that will take care of that problem. Okay guys, that is a wrap for the 2026 haying season. This 276 New Holland baler still got a few growing pains, but it really did excellent considering it's been sitting for 2 years and the guy quit using it because he couldn't get it to work. I think they misdiagnosed it. He said that it was a timing problem, and I think mainly the reason it sheared some pins on me, and I think the main reason is the knives are dull, because every time I'd get it overloaded it would shear a pin. And so this winter I'll pull the plunger out of it this winter and check and make sure all of the bearings are good, the wheels are good in that plunger, and sharpen them knives. And I think this will be a great machine. I'm just really tickled about it. 300 bales in that little piece of ground. I think it was just over 6 acres. Boy, this country around here will grow the hay if you put water on it. And then I also wanted to mention the old orange pumpkin over here. For those of you that haven't been around for a while, Scott and I rescued this from the salvage yard over in Evanston, Wyoming, and it had a big hole knocked in the block of it, and we just couldn't stand to see it sitting over there in the salvage yard, so we bought it from him, brought it back here, and fixed that hole that was knocked in the block. What it had done is thrown a connecting rod. So anyway, it's got a complete rebuild motor. I rebuilt the whole motor on it, and there's a whole series of videos if you haven't been around long enough to have recognized that. So I wanted to point that out. So I'll do one more video when I get all the numbers together, recapping the haying season, but I'm sure glad to have it done. So thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.